G'day guys, this is a small 5-minute video I prepared for everybody doing the challenge. This is a warm-up routine that is going to be good for you guys who aren't too sure how to warm up prior to any workout that you're doing. Whether or not you're doing the IB Fit Extreme or whether or not you're doing the lifestyle challenge, you're going to have workouts that are going to be a little bit more intense than some others that you've done. I'm getting a bit over seeing everyone just walk on the treadmill and thinking that then that's it and they're done, they're ready to go. Okay, that's the quickest way to injure yourself there, guys. So remember these 3 words. You want to elevate, circulate, and lubricate. Okay, you want to elevate your heart rate, blood pressure, you want to circulate blood, and you want to lubricate joints and muscles. Okay, so that's going to prepare you better than just walking on a treadmill, which won't do a great deal. Apart from those who have injury and can't really do a lot of the things you see in this video, walking won't do a great deal. Okay, now this video is prior to one of my fights that I had on the weekend. Now you don't have to be a competitive athlete to do any of this stuff. It's pretty basic. I've shortened it down a bit for you guys so you can have a bit of a look and follow some of the stuff that I did. This is something that you can follow before, after your workouts to warm up and warm down, okay? So make sure you do both and make sure you make it specific to the workout you're doing, okay? Hope you guys enjoy. Okay guys, as you can see here, I'm just warming up my hips a little bit because I know I'm going to be twisting and throwing a lot of my body weight forward and backward throughout the course of the 3-minute rounds. I'm looking at all the movements that I'm going to be doing and trying to over-exaggerate them in the safest way possible. So what you can see here, guys, is me throwing my leg all the way out. Now I'm just warming up my hamstrings and my glutes, and this is going to stop me from injuring myself when I'm moving around the ring or when I'm running or anything like that, and it's going to stop me from tearing a hamstring. Now whatever movement you do, you want to make sure that you get an even amount on both sides, and this stops overcompensation on one side or tightness on the other. As I mentioned before, you want to start from the ground up. Here I'm warming up my knees and just making sure my knee joint's nice and lubricated. The whole idea is to stay mobile while you're doing your entire warm-up. Here I'm circling at the hips, making sure my hip and my lower back are nice and relaxed and nice and mobile before I get stuck into the real warm-up. Don't let people distract you. For those of you guys who have done my class, you would have seen this one a couple of times. This all I'm doing here is stretching out my lower back, stretching out my lats and making sure the upper portion of my back is nice and loose, and even giving my lower obliques a bit of a stretch as well. The whole point of a warm-up, guys, is to remain dynamic. You always want to keep moving. There's to be no static stretching, no standing still, unless you've got tight areas that you really want to make relaxed. Here I'm making big circles with my arms because, as you can probably imagine, I'm up for a bit of punching. This will help mobilize and relax my shoulders as well as circulate a bit of synovial fluid in the joint. Make sure you do them forward and backwards. Boxing is a bilateral sport, so you want to make sure you warm up both sides efficiently. Dropping all my weight into the bottom of my hand, I make sure my arm swings are nice and relaxed. The last thing I want to do is tighten up throughout the warm-up. By now I can start to feel my body warm up and my heart rate start to increase. Another good way to warm up the shoulders and upper back is by bending forward at the waist and making sure our body are nice and parallel to the floor. We want to throw our arms forward over the top of our head continuously as if we're combing our hair forward. We want to try and get our elbows over the top of our ears and make sure we give our upper back a big stretch. In between warm-up exercises, you want to make sure you're nice and mobile, whether or not it's jumping on the spot, skipping up and down, just make sure you're moving. This warm-up routine here is good for the elbows in case you're pushing or throwing anything from the chest, and in case you're pressing overhead. This warms up the elbow joint a little bit more. Remember to keep it specific, guys. This one's warming up my hand-eye coordination as well as my hip joint. After about 5 minutes of dynamic warm-ups, it's time to get into some pad work with my coach. The entire warm-up should take about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the level of activity. After some drills on the pads with my coach, it's time to work out. Whatever the result of your previous workout, you still want to make sure you're looking after your body. Whether or not you had a good or bad day, it's still time to warm down. This is going to help prevent further injury in the future. Be diligent. Talk to other people, but don't forget you're here to do a job. After we finished our workout, our heart rate's pretty high, so we want to try and bring it back down to normal resting level. The last thing we want to do is stop completely and start stretching the muscles. so here I'm just warming down my arms and moving them around. This slowly brings my heart rate and body temperature down to a normal level. I want to do a lot of the movements I was doing for the warm-up, but I want to keep them at a lower intensity. It's important to know where your problem areas are and to make sure you give them the proper attention. I want to start static stretching now. This is going to help lengthen out the muscles that have been used throughout the course of the bout and make sure they're nice and stretched. This is going to prevent any restricted movement in the future. Still feeling that my heart rate's a bit high, I shadow box for a little bit, just warming down the joints. I want to make sure I stretch out the entire course of the warm down. Again, you want to make sure they're even on both sides. I hope you all got something out of this warm-up plan. It's pretty basic, but it's something you can all implement when you're training. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you have any further questions, feel free to email me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the gym.